Welcome, everyone. Ready to dive into some seriously strange stuff. We're talking UFOs, specifically in Venezuela. You guys sent in some wild stories, and let me tell you, we were hooked from the get-go.
It's a treasure trove of the unexplained. What struck me right away was how these events seem drawn to certain spots, almost like the land itself is whispering secrets.
Okay, so picture this. Mount Roraima, flat top, sheer cliffs, often lost in mist. It's practically begging for a UFO flyby, right?
Roraima is a tepui, and it's been messing with people's heads for ages. Those cliffs, thousands of feet high, sometimes with those lenticular clouds, it's otherworldly, even before we get to the alien.
Lenticular clouds, those saucer-shaped ones. Spooky how they just hang there.
Exactly. But here's the thing. The Pemon people who live near Roraima, they've always believed it's a dwelling of the gods, celestial beings, all peaceful and wise.
So we've got this crazy landscape, ancient stories about beings from the sky. Already sounds like the start of a sci-fi movie.
And it gets wilder. One legend talks about a guy abducted, not by a spaceship, but a ship made of crystal.
Hold up, Crystal. That's a new one. What happened to this guy?
They took him inside Roraima. He met these beings called the Amaikok, small, gray, usually friendly, from what I've heard. Now, legend versus truth, it's always blurry, but these stories stick around for a reason, you know?
Like they're part of the place itself. But it's not just folklore, right? People are still seeing weird stuff around Roraima.
Oh yeah, tons of reports. Strange lights, objects vanishing into the cliffs. Makes you wonder if those old stories are more than just stories.
Like Roraima's a UFO magnet. And then there's that whole thing with the weird life form they found in a cave there.
2004 blew everyone's minds. Deep inside, a cave made of quartz. A geologist finds this. Bacteria. But not just any bacteria. This one crystallizes minerals as it grows, builds these crazy formations.
Building itself a crystal palace. Now that's just showing off.
Right, and the NASA got involved. They were studying this Bios Bella theme, thought maybe it didn't even start on Earth.
Wait, are we talking alien bacteria here?
They even considered that it might have hitched a ride on a meteorite, maybe even from Mars. Still a theory, but it makes you think, right?
It does. Ancient stories of sky beings, weird lights, now maybe alien bacteria. Roraima's got it all.
Right. And it doesn't stop there. Venezuela's got more mysteries up its sleeve. Let's switch gears from mountains to caves for a second and talk about Piedra Pintada.
This is the place with the rock carvings, yeah.
Exactly, ancient petroglyphs. And we're not talking stick figures here. There's this one called the rain goddess, humanoid, but with this long head, and get this, an ovoid shape on top, almost like a helmet. And around it, spirals, circles, all those cosmic symbols.
Sounds like someone was watching too much Ancient Aliens. What do those symbols mean? Any ideas?
Up for debate, but some think it's more than art. Like they were recording something they saw, beings from another world.
So we're talking ancient astronaut fan art, basically. That's wild.
It gets weirder. There are also carvings that look like astronomical events, crazy advanced for the time.
Maybe they looked up at the same stars and saw something that changed everything.
Makes you wonder where that knowledge came from. Speaking of unexplained knowledge, ever heard of the lithic spheres of Onoto?
Rings a bell. Weren't those big stone balls?
Yeah, perfectly round, some weighing 12 tons, found when they were building a reservoir.
12 tons? How do you even move something that big, let alone carve it into a perfect sphere?
Beats me. Those spheres have been puzzling people since the 70s. The craftsmanship is unbelievable, especially for the tools they had back then.
Right. It's like they had some super advanced technology we don't even know about.
Yeah.
And those spheres have been found in other places too, right?
You got it. Costa Rica, Easter Island, even Argentina. Seems like a global phenomenon.
Makes you think. Who made them? And what were they for? Some kind of message we haven't figured out yet.
Maybe. Those spheres are one of those mysteries that really makes you question everything you thought you knew about the past.
They do. And it makes you realize that as much as we've learned, there's still a ton we don't know. But enough about ancient mysteries. Let's get to the good stuff. Actual encounters. Venezuela's got plenty of those too, right?
Oh, yeah. And they're not all just lights in the sky. Get ready for some close encounters, starting in the 1950s.
All right, hit me with those close encounters. What happened in the 1950s?
1954, the Pader case. This one's straight out of a horror movie.
Oh, yeah, the hairy creature with the helmet. It's like, what were they thinking with that design? Tell me everything.
So two truck drivers, early morning, they see something blocking the road. Small figure, covered in hair, wearing a round helmet.
Okay, that's just creepy. What'd they do?
One of the guys, Gonzalez, he gets attacked. The thing was small but strong. Meanwhile, his buddy Ponce, he's freaking out, sees two more of these things show up carrying containers.
Containers? Like they were
Well,
collecting something.
yeah.
That's even weirder.
Right. People have been debating that for years. Anyway, the truckers try to get out of there, but the beings, they point this bright light at them. Both guys say they couldn't move, then boom, gone. Vanished.
Spooky. Did anyone believe them?
Here's the thing. The police took them seriously. They reported it right away, no signs of being drunk or anything. Gonzalez even had injuries, like he'd been in a fight.
Wow, so it's not just a story. There's actual evidence.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what those things were really after.
Exactly. Sometimes these encounters, they get up close and personal.
No kidding. Okay, what's next?
Let's jump ahead to 1974. No aliens in this one, but just as strange. The Caracas UFO sighting.
This was that huge event, right? Like everyone in the city saw it.
Pretty much. July 31st, tons of people, we're talking journalists, airport workers, saw these 4 bright things zipping across the sky crazy fast.
But people see weird stuff in the sky all the time. What makes this one special?
Well, these things were moving way too fast for any plane back then. And get this, they never showed up on radar.
Invisible to technology. That's spooky.
Right. And it wasn't over quickly either. People watched them go from Valencia to Caracas in minutes. No way a plane could do that.
Did anyone get it on film?
No clear photos or videos, but that's not surprising back then. But the number of people who saw it all saying the same thing is hard to explain away.
No kidding. Okay, but we were talking about photos. What about that picture of the UFO at the cathedral?
The 1976 photo. Now that's a clear image.
Leopoldo Olivares took it, right? He was a professional, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was taking pictures of the San Felipe Neri Cathedral when, bam, this transparent disc-shaped thing shows up in the frame, moons in the background, whole thing's crystal clear.
It's like it posed for the picture. Did he even notice at the time?
No clue. He only saw it when he developed the film. Experts looked it over, said it wasn't faked. Even the Venezuelan Institute of Scientific Investigations checked it out.
So, no Photoshop back then. This was the real deal.
It caused quite a stir. People started taking UFOs a lot more seriously after that one.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've had sightings, weird photos. Anything else?
Oh yeah, this next one gets intense. The Guarico incident, 1998. We're not just talking lights in the sky anymore. This one involves a crash.
A crash. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
What happened?
Picture this. Huge storm out in the Venezuelan plains. Suddenly, boom, this massive thing falls out of the sky, lands on a farm.
Okay, I'm hooked. What did people see?
Hard to say for sure. The storm was bad and the farm was isolated. But folks nearby, they said they saw a big, dark shape, curved, falling fast. Some even felt the ground shake when it hit.
So, we've got a potential crash site. What happened next?
Here's where it gets weird. People who went near the crash site, they started feeling sick, nausea, headaches. Some even said they couldn't move for a while. Like whatever that thing was, it was giving off something.
You think it was radiation?
Maybe. But here's the kicker. People said they saw unmarked vehicles, and these guys saying they were from NASA showing up at the farm.
Hold on, NASA. All the way down in Venezuela.
That's what people said. Officially, they were there for a downed satellite. But then, the people who owned the farm, they disappeared. No one knows where they went. Makes you wonder what they really found out there.
It's like a scene from the X-Files. A crash, strange sickness, secret government stuff. What's next?
Well, hold on to your hats because this next one involves something you wouldn't expect in Venezuela. Crop circles.
Crop circles! Seriously. I thought those are more of a British thing. It's like, I gotta hear.
Yeah, 2019, out in Bolivar near La Lorena, people wake up and boom, giant crop circle in a field.
Wait, so not just some flattened grass.
Yeah.
We talking a real deal design here.
Oh yeah, no question. 2 perfect circles made a giant figure 8 when you put them together. Someone put some serious work into this thing.
Figure 8, huh? Any meaning to that?
All sorts, depending who you ask. Infinity, cycles, balance, big concepts, right? Some crop circle folks, they say it's about time, warnings, that kind of thing.
Man, crop circles in Venezuela. Who knew? What's weirder, the circles themselves or the fact that it happened there at all?
Both are pretty strange, right? But get this. Those circles. Laser-sharp lines. Not like something was dragged through the field, more like the plants were carefully bent into place. And the plants around it. Totally fine.
Like, whatever made it was hovering or something. Getting chills just thinking about it. What about the plants themselves? Did anyone check those out?
You know they did. And this is where it gets even weirder. The plants, they were damp underneath, but there hadn't been any rain.
Okay, now that's just messing with us. It's like this thing, it wanted to make its mark, leave a message, but not actually hurt anything.
It's a head-scratcher, that's for sure. Every answer just seems to lead to more questions. Speaking of questions, we got to talk about that Maracaibo UFO photo from 2020.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Clear as day, right?
Crystal clear. And the guy who took it, Mauricio Galu, he wasn't even looking for UFOs. He was a yoga instructor, just enjoying the day.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time. What happened?
So he's outside, here's this weird buzzing, like a plane, but he can't see anything because of the sun. So he does what anyone would do, points his phone at the sky, and snaps a few pics.
It's amazing what people catch on camera by accident these days.
Right, so he checks the photos later, and bam, there it is, a classic disc-shaped UFO just hanging out in the sky.
No way. And broad daylight, too. Most of those photos are fuzzy, taken at night.
Exactly. The Maracaibo photo, it shook things up. It showed that these things aren't just lurking in the shadows.
Makes you wonder how many we miss, just because it's daytime. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. Anything else, or are we done with the weirdness?
Well, we can't talk about Venezuelan UFOs without mentioning the Caroni River.
Hit me.
This was July 2020. Bunch of people by the river, they see this UFO with 5 flashing lights going nuts in the sky.
Going nuts how? What was it doing?
Changing direction, speed, even color. Some people said it was like a light show, all these lights pulsing.
Sounds kind of beautiful in a terrifying kind of way. Did anyone get it on video?
Oh yeah, a few shaky videos floating around. And in some, you can see the second, smaller UFO coming down to meet the big one.
A UFO meetup over a river. Man, Venezuela does not disappoint. That's quite a tour of the unexplained we've had here. What's the takeaway? Are we any closer to figuring out what's going on with all these UFOs?
That's the big question, isn't it? I don't know if there's a single answer. But what I do know is these stories, they make us think. Challenge what we think we know about the universe. Maybe that's enough for now.
Maybe you're right. Whether you believe in aliens or not, gotta admit, the universe is a pretty amazing and mysterious place. Thanks for coming along on this deep dive with us, everyone. Until next time, keep those eyes on the sky. You never know what you might see.